imagine. There we go.
There it goes. Okay. All right. It's April 27th, and this the Historic District Commission meeting, or it's 7 o'clock. We'll now start the meeting. Okay, I'll read the opening statement. Qualifications of the member of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultants used or on file with the town are hereby made part of each and every application heard tonight. Guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made part of each and every application. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merit and is not considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Historic District Design Guidelines have been adopted by the town of Sykesville in accordance with Article 6B, 8.06A of the Maryland Code and follow the recommendations of the United States Secretary of the Interior. Sykesville Historic District Commission follows Robert's Rules of Order with the exception that the chairperson votes. Okay. So on the agenda, I think the first order of business will be the approval of the minutes from December 15th, which are included in the packet. And I guess Jeannie was the only one that wasn't here, so the rest of us can vote on that. Did everyone have a chance to look at it? Any questions about it? Okay, I didn't have any problem either. Someone will make a motion to accept them, or I'll do it. Uh-oh, Mike, you're muted. I think Mike's trying to do it. Mike, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Still muted, Mike. Yeah.
He's doing hand signals.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. We got a second? Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes have been approved. Okay, the first application was Josh Zavalia's property on 7323 Springfield, and he wanted to replace an existing stockade fence that has fallen apart with a new one. I guess, did you want to get the pictures up, Carrie? Can you do that, or?
That'd be helpful.
There you are, Mike. Okay, so that's the old one. It looks like it's pretty rough. I've driven by there a few times, and at least from the little section I could see, it looked like that. And I see his motivation to do it. So I didn't want to move. Get a picture of the what he proposed. Okay, there we go. All right. Anybody have any comments or dissension or complaints? Anything why we wouldn't want to approve this?
It looks much better than the one he has.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And our guidelines are pretty basic. I think it just says don't recommend a chain link or a plastic fence. So, and this is I think it's pretty consistent with the neighborhood, and only a little portion of it's visible. So, any discussion on it at all, or everybody in agreement that it's okay?
I'm in agreement.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it looks
Okay,
fine.
terrific. Someone else want me to make a recommendation? Someone else want to do it? I can go back to the gallery. I can't see.
I
There we
can't get back to my menu with all the stuff on it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I will make a motion to approve the amendment addition to the application 2021-01. Actually, I guess it looks like a new application this year. So, hi, there's Richard. Taking a hike. Okay. So for 7323 Springfield Avenue, to replace the old stockade fence with a new one. And it seemed to be in compliance with page 55 walls and fences. Any discussion? We have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving this?
Aye.
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 Okay, very good. All right. You with us now, Richard? Oh, he's in a car. Okay. Muted.
He's muted.
You're muted, Richard. Okay. All right, the second, then we'll move on to the second agenda item, which would be 2021-02, 7602 Main Street, submitted by Jennifer Banks for a sign. I guess the new business will be titled Salt. And it is, the sign is, looks like it's less than 6.5 square feet. It's 30 by 22 inches, and it appears to be 8 feet above the sidewalk. And that would make it, I believe, in compliance with our guidelines.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I think the lettering appears to be okay. I can't really tell, but I think it's, if it's only 22 inches high, then it's less than 18 inches. So, any discussion on the sign?
It looks like they used the regular, or the hanger that the company used before them, so that pretty much sets, pretty much is,
Pre-approved hanger.
yeah, it's pretty much pre-approved and everything, because it is less than 6 inches. It comes out to like 5.5, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't see anything objectionable about it. It's 8 feet from the ceiling, which from the
Right.
ceiling. Excuse me, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about painting today. It's 8 feet from the sidewalk, so there's no issue there.
No, I don't think it hangs out over the curb either. It looks, it's a little
No.
skewed here with a curving sidewalk in the distance, but I think before it was okay, so. All right, want to go back to the gallery then? Okay. Is there any other discussion? Everybody else good with it? Okay, all righty. Someone want to make a motion to approve this, or?
Make the motion.
Okay.
Make the motion to approve application 2021-02 for the hanging sign at 7602 Main Street.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Okay, so we'll move on to the third agenda item, which was 2021-03. At the townhouse would be a shed to store the garden equipment for the garden people. And that was that, you want to go over the dimensions then, Joe? And I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be. I think looked like on the back side, but
Yeah, over by like where the air conditioning units are, facing the parking lot there at the townhouse. That's
so
the
that's
general
adjacent to the
location.
porch? Is that on the same side as the entrance porch?
No, the other
The
side
other
of the
side.
building. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
There it is on that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
we
kind
are.
of-
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be visible from Main Street, so we wanted
No.
to stick it over there.
Yeah.
It's basically going to be, I want to say it's about 2.5 feet deep, maybe 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall, something along those lines. Made out of either cedar or cypress, depending on the exact shed that we end up getting. But we want to replace there's like a plastic bin basically that sits on the front porch that we want to replace. Yeah, there it is right there. So obviously as that garden has grown and gotten more popular, there's more equipment that they want to store there at the townhouse, and really they've kind of run out of room on the porch, and really I don't like having all that storage on there. I'd rather the porch be kind of free and open to, like a bench or something like that. So the compromise was, the potential to put a little garden shed there at the side of the building that hopefully keep
Okay.
everything out of the way, and then also give a spot to hide the hoses. You know, every summer they kind of drag those hoses out. They end up just kind of collecting there in the side flower bed.
Right, right. I never realized that's what that chest was for, that trunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So it's going to be like around where the downspout is?
Yeah, kind of right in between those two
Between 'em?
downspouts. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I suppose to kind of reflect the building, I guess, or the exterior of the buildings, but I don't know if that's, I mean, it seems like it's in,
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to try to pick a different one too, if
Yeah.
that one's not good. The garden folks had thrown out a plastic one, and of course we didn't like that.
no,
We figured these wooden ones would be a little bit better, or we could certainly
right.
paint them to make it match a little bit better. I don't know if we'll find one that matches quite like the townhouse. It's
Yeah, it'd be difficult. And that's,
yeah,
it is.
unless we
it's a
custom one.
Stained wood, so,
What's the saying the guidelines for temporary structures? Because this is a temporary structure.
Also, it's treating it like street furniture.
Yeah, so do you even need approval for this, to tell you the truth? You're not putting a concrete pad or anything for it, are you, Joe?
No.
It's just gonna sit on the grade?
Yeah, we'll
Or
probably
some-
we'll try to level it, yeah, so that it's there. But yeah,
And it's not a
Some-
it's not a building.
No,
No.
so that's why I'm wondering, do you even need approval for it? I mean, it's nice that you came to the district, but
I just didn't want to miss Final Jeopardy. That's all.
Right, you're burning up time here.
aha.
I don't see anything in our booklet about temporary structures.
Wasn't there
So-
guidance on sheds or no?
There was, I thought I had the page written down here and now I can't find it.
I think it was page 41, Carrie, that you put in our staff report.
Oh, I got signs on page 41. Oh, small auxiliary buildings, there it is down the bottom, garden sheds. They exist, primarily associated with residential, blah, 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 blah. Characteristic of the building recommended,
Right.
located so it can't be seen by public right away, we got that, I guess, for most of them. Compatible size, shape, design, materials of the principal building, but they don't obscure the view. I don't know how much that thing actually competes. I mean, it looks like it's an attractive little shed and it's wood, it's not plastic or whatever. It's not like the one down by the train, my pulling car. So,
Anybody have any objections?
No,
no,
Okay, then I can make a motion to accept application 2021-03 for the shed at 7547 Main Street.
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right,
The garden group's going to be very happy. They're gonna be thrilled.
no,
And
good.
Amy
That's
Piggy's
a much-
gonna be very
that's
happy
improvement.
with their vegetables.
Yeah, right. We'll share any of the produce from the garden.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, okay. I don't have any other inputs. Anyone else have anything?
I will say just real quick, and I know we have one new member on the HDC, but I don't know how much training the commission has had in the past. I know one of the issues that came up when the news hit that the state was pulling the easement from Warfield was to make sure that resources were going to be available to the HDC for anything that you all might need moving forward to, review that project or any other, potential projects coming down the pike. So we have started the budget process or for FY22, and we did include monies for training in that budget. So we've looked at the Maryland Association of Historic District Commissions, and they do have several training programs. I'll maybe send out some of that information just so everybody can start looking through and seeing if there's anything that maybe strikes a chord with the group. And like I said, there is money going to be in the budget starting in July for that type of training. So if there is
Is that
anything
gonna
anybody
be-
interesting,
Is that in-person training or online training?
I believe it's all virtual.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we can have a group up to 15 people. So I mean, again, even if other folks, even outside of the HDC, want to do it,
Yeah.
we can invite others to participate
Yeah.
too.
We do have Chad as an architect, and he seems to have a lot of experience in the area. I think
Mhm.
we're pretty well. I think we're fairly covered, but and I think even Richard Wagner might come back on a
Mhm.
piece by piece, just for special projects, perhaps. I don't know. He didn't resign. He didn't retire like he was going. So although he does work for Steve a lot. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm game to look at the training. It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I know I don't know what Steve's going to throw at us in the future. And,
Well, it's always changing too. And that's one of the things,
Right.
like with code compliance, it's always something different. So it's
It
good to stay
is.
on top of it.
For sure.
I would appreciate the opportunity to do some training on that area.
Yeah, I think we all
Yeah.
could use it. It'd be great. Since Storage Trust seems to have abandoned us, so. No, they are there. I mean, they are there to review.
They're there to
anything
help
tax-
if we need them. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested. I mean, I was involved in Warfield in the very beginning, and I remember discussing the details of what we wanted to put over there, but it's been a while, and I know everything
They've
has
been
changed
through a
since I
lot.
was. Yeah,
And I think our challenge maybe, I don't know, I think there's probably more development on inside the National Historic boundaries that, I think that's the only place they got left other than that AB area where they wanted to put a supermarket and a hotel at one point. I think it's residential housing they're looking at. I heard low income or medium income or something like that also. So
Workforce.
there's a rumor floating around.
Isn't there a zoning requirement over there to limit the amount of housing? They'd have to get
There is.
they'd have to have a waiver on that, right?
Yeah, there's that. There's water
Or just an
requirements and
overall
all sorts
zoning
of things.
change. Yeah.
yeah. I saw the presentation by the developer.
Okay.
You were welcome. Most of us were not.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was crammed with every inch with housing, probably 470 some
Oh.
additional units.
Oh, where was that? Or when was that?
It's a little secret thing that they had on Zoom, and they had sent it out to the Warfield people, the new people that have moved into the townhouses at Warfield, and to
Yeah.
the people in Ringcliffe.
Parkside.
And that was all. The invitation went out, and anyone that was an elected official was shut out of the process. So I went to
Oh.
the second meeting, and there were 4 of us.
Yeah.
That was it. So, and it was, he showed their development plans, basically. They're already drawn out what he wants to do. And
Oh, right.
it was really shocking to me, since I know that property is not zoned for that kind of volume, and it's in my mind inappropriate for that type of volume.
Definitely. It is. I want to keep that as pristine as possible. It's it's a gem. I didn't even like those 8 commercial buildings they wanted to put around the circle there, but they were approved. So
Well, it's nothing that hasn't been discussed since day one, that's a difficult property. So it's nothing
Right.
new. The developer got into it. It was already a known thing.
yeah,
So anyway, I guess that's one thing that we'll be dealing with, since we're the last historic district group
Mhm.
now
Yeah.
that the state's been taken out of the process.
yeah. Yeah,
Where,
it would be
where is the proposed development of these 140 some additional units?
470.
All the
400.
historic structures would be
All the
converted to
historic
residential.
structures, they're proposing that they would have apartments and condos, and then all of the surrounding property, they have townhouses on, all of it.
What
Oh,
about
yeah.
the empty lots? Is that still proposed for grocery store, hotel, whatever?
No, that would be townhouses. They stuffed townhouses in every single piece of property over there,
typical developer.
including the historic.
So what do
Buildings.
what do they need to pass that, Joe? Like, did
Oh,
any of
they,
the council?
A lot.
yeah, they would have to come through the HDC, the Planning Commission, and council. So
I couldn't understand why they had those meetings, because if they know anything about this area, you don't come in and say, I'm gonna put hundreds more units in there without riling people up, especially the people that live over there, who don't want that to happen. So
Right.
I think that's gonna be on the horizon for us. And evidently they've gone to the state and they've gotten advocates at the state level for what they want, for some of what they want to do. But still, they
Yeah,
have
my-
to come through us.
yeah,
The
And
my
the
guess
one
is they
building,
went through-
the one building over there had like a roof collapse or something. I saw the guys repairing it. Who did the repairs on that?
I can't remember the name of the contractor. I can.
But
I
is
can
that
send
through
to you.
Sykesville? I mean, who, or the developer?
Well, the developer paid for the work. Yeah,
Was that the F building or another building?
it was the F building.
It
Yeah.
was the F. I knew they had some issues there they wanted to address. And
Yeah, that porch, the roof on the porch there of the F building was in pretty bad
Yeah.
shape. So.
Yeah, I thought they did approach us with that. I know, at least I remember discussions on it.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
work was actually approved quite a while ago. They just
Right.
Must have
weren't
been.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
before
that,
my time.
I don't know, we might have submitted that to MHT and that was, and it was supposed to be due like February, the response. So maybe that's when they dumped this. So,
It might have gotten
Yeah.
approved when they did because they did the full roof of building F some time ago. So this might have been
Yeah.
approved around the same time and they
Oh,
just
okay.
didn't do the work
Hmm.
at the same
Ah.
time.
geez, well, that's disturbing. Okay.
Well,
What's the-
I probably can, I actually videoed with my phone, the presentation. Cause they wouldn't let me, on Zoom, you can copy it, but, I wasn't gonna ask them.
No,
So I'll see if I can make some stills off of there and, maybe we can look at them, but I mean, there's so much they'd have to do to get approved for that.
Yeah, I think
For
it's just a little
planning,
premature. There's so many steps they're gonna have to jump through before
yeah,
we really need to dig into it.
I
at
think
this
they're doing
point,
it for
but-
leverage. That's what I've come to the conclusion. Like, we could do 475, or we could do 150.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
less?
well, I thought they couldn't do more medical facilities because there wasn't enough water. So how can they add all these residences? I don't know. That's
Why
another
isn't
big
there
issue.
Why isn't there enough water?
So I thought the
There
volume,
was an
right?
allotment that we had to allocate from one area because
Wow.
of the water and move it over to there to approve well, not us, the county, to approve the
County,
145 housing that they had.
Because the county has lots of water.
They just need to allocate
Mhm.
it over there and approve the allocation for the additional housing.
Wow.
Got it.
So they could do it. All right.
If nobody else has anything, I have a question and a comment.
Okay.
Question, did Richard Wagner ever get back to us about the J building? He submitted an application to MHT about I guess it was the
Siding.
siding and the trim on the J
Wasn't
building.
that the Hubner and the T building, you mean? Or,
Yeah, the Hubner building, I'm sorry.
yeah, well, I thought we approved that.
No,
Yeah,
we,
That's what we sent to MHT. and they
yeah, we
didn't
referred to
respond.
the
We-
MHT and he was supposed to get back to us to let us know what MHT approved for the materials.
That's what I was saying. I don't think they did. And I think then they abandoned it. They just, just got rid of the easement in that interim period. So it's our approval, I think, is going to stand. At least that's the way I look at it. So we did approve it. Tentative, I think the use of Boro was the only question we had. And I think I found that subsequent to that the Boro would be approved due to language. I think Richard pointed it out to me. So that was the only issue, I think, was whether they could use Boro instead of regular pine or whatever. So we never heard back from MHT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that he was supposed to propose either mahogany or some other type of wood or
Well, we left it open. We'd have to look back at the minutes, but I'm pretty sure I remember, Chad had a discussion about using Boral, and we thought it was probably be okay, but we want to make sure MH2 would think it was okay. And that was the question with hanging. And I think Richard done I don't know, maybe I thought I might have copied everybody, but I know he sent that thing back to me that there's some language, I don't know, it was 4A, I forget which, in the guidelines, in the Warfield guidelines, that said the Boral was that alternative to wood could be approved. And
I think I remember a couple of emails that went back and forth. I'll dig those up, Anna, and we'll forward those out to the group. And if there is still
probably have them too somewhere.
if there is still a question hanging out from MHT, we can always follow up with them
Okay.
Yeah.
and Richard, really.
And that leads me to my comment. My initial thought was at the beginning of the year to review the guidelines because they were back in 1998 and things have changed, but that's going to be a very long drawn out process. What I'd like to get from MHT is maybe an updated material list that's approved that will alleviate a lot of questions. So if there's a certain type of window that they approve an Anderson XYZ or a Pella ABC, we already have the list. And if homeowners or developers come to us and they want to use a type of window, we can look at the list and say, yes, that's been approved for historic accuracy.
I think I've been going to this, except for the last 2 years, the Maryland Association of Historic District Commissions have had annual conferences, and I usually manage to have some conversations with Elizabeth and other historic district people. And my impression is that they don't have a list like that they because there's always vendors there, trying to push their products that are being used by other historic districts. And my impression is that they defer to the local historic districts to determine what's acceptable there. Except maybe at Warfield might be different, but I know like Frederick and Hagerstown and places like that, and a couple Cambridge, others, they have, I've seen people using different materials that we don't allow even.
I can't see them limiting it to proprietary manufacturer, right?
No,
Because
we can't
then
do that.
that wouldn't be fair to other manufacturers out there. So I can
Right.
see them not providing a list of that. I could see
Yeah.
them saying, just setting the guidelines and the material like wood, or maybe even, as Anna was saying, if it's fiber cement is now accepted, then if that's part of the list, there's different manufacturers, or if Boral is approved.
Mhm.
So maybe it's just a updated list of the actual physical materials and not manufacturers.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
that's what it would
I'm
be.
looking for.
Because like
Yeah.
Anderson 100 series windows is a composite material. Is that allowed? It's historically correct, but it's not wood. It's a mixture of material. Is that allowed? So that would be nice to know if certain materials that are composite are able to be used.
Yeah, I'd be
It
willing
helps
to.
We get a lot of conversations that we have. So if a homeowner or a business owner comes to us and we want aluminum, obviously aluminum is out. But if they say we have this composite, we can look at the list and say, well, according to MHT, this composite product is historically accurate and it's approved. And it would alleviate a lot of conversation.
Yeah, they may
Is
just
it-
have language too about kind of go around that without actually naming specifics. That's why they don't name Boral as one of the things, but they
No,
seem to name a similar product composition, like as an alternative, as long as it's historically.
Is
Okay.
MHT is MHT the one who is doing the code review, and do we have input anywhere along the line?
No, the code, well, actually, the Warfield, you mean the guidelines?
The
Warfield
guidelines, yeah.
Those are ours now exclusively. We did
Well,
used to, in the past,
And
we
was
used to
saying that
have
it's
to
going to
go.
take a long time, and I was just wondering
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what happened.
who's doing
when
it,
the first-
and when do we have input?
Before you joined the bill, we went through this process with the townhomes. Richard Wagner had some problems with the design, that it didn't reflect the campus design at Warfield and all that, and we had to amend our guidelines in order for the townhouse to fit into it so they could proceed. And that just got into a huge mess, and they ended up planning overrode MHT, and that was her boss, the department, it was Wendy Peters at the time, had overridden, MHT, and then then MHT said, fine, make the changes. But the changes are no longer subject to MHT's approval because that was in the easement.
Well, the reason why I asked the question is I've had a couple of my neighbors in the historic district come to me and make suggestions if they're going to review the code and whether they could have input into the review. And I was just wondering who's going to do it and when.
Oh, that wouldn't be even Warfield guidelines. That'd be the Sykesville Historic District guidelines. And they probably are due for some review and modification based on what we've been doing over the past couple of years. So I'm afraid, free time for our.
So what is the standard for that? Is it a 10-year review process, or is it 15-year?
There's nothing there about it.
I think it's really up to the district, and it's up to the commission to figure out, how often do you want to review it? It could be annual, it could be semi-annual, it could be
as
every few
needed.
years. I think really if it's just a material list at this point, it might just be something that we can do as a commission to say, what are the things that we're going to find acceptable and that we believe are in fact in the spirit of that, I guess, rehabilitation and like materials for what was historically used.
Right.
And then we can certainly always ask MHT for guidance and review after we've made a decision or we're ready to adopt a revised list. But as far as any guidance or standards for how often they need to be reviewed or what materials we should or shouldn't use, we could always start pulling examples from other guidelines from other jurisdictions.
Yeah, there's plenty of those around. I think Richard Wagner actually helped write the original guidelines we have.
He did.
So, yeah.
Are we?
Did anybody
Oh,
else
you
get
broke
that?
up, Richard.
Are we gonna be?
Uh-oh. Yeah, this is like in very slow motion. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Plug your phone in.
Stand outside.
Reviewing the local,
Your voice is turned into music.
I
like
don't know.
the
I don't
idea
know
of
what he was saying.
I like the idea of reviewing materials since it sounds like that is the biggest thing. That what material to approve.
Well, how about this? I mean, I'm happy to start to pull some examples together, and maybe at our next meeting we can just start looking over what other jurisdictions potentially use and what we might be comfortable with.
Uh-oh.
We can keep it as simple as that if you want.
If you
Yeah.
have that access, that would be great.
Okay.
Like maybe larger communities, Baltimore City.
I was
know
thinking Frederick or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Frederick, that they have a large historical community up there. So I know that the guidelines are pretty up to date.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are actually a little more liberal than ours in some ways, so in terms of materials. So
Right, I think that would be the basis of what we look at rather than taking something from another jurisdiction saying this is what we want to do. Because
Right.
you're right, like the historic districts are as different as individuals in terms of what they accept and what they don't accept.
yeah,
We'll try to keep it limited. Like I won't pull the entire document and hand it to you all and say, okay, start looking through it. We'll try to get specific about, do they have, material lists or certain types of products that they allow that maybe we don't, that we can start looking at.
Okay.
yeah,
That would be helpful.
Okay. Can
Yeah.
do.
yeah. The other districts should all be online like we are, so
Yeah.
we should be able to get them. Okay. Any other discussion or? How about the neon signs? So they're gonna continue for a while?
I think most of them are down. I know we were still
Not
having an
at the
issue
pottery shop.
at the pottery. Yeah, the pottery one I still need to follow up with. But
Yeah, that was really
gone.
great. I mean, I don't know if they need it or not, but.
I don't know if
okay.
you've seen the campaign signs downtown. Good Lord. There's...
Well, those are temporary. I guess we
Yeah,
allow those.
One
Just so,
more, one more,
Or what about
One
the-
more week.
What about the
One more week.
what about the haircut?
Haircut place.
Which
What was
one?
going on
Salon.
there?
What happened there?
I know what he's talking about. There's rope light inside the windows at the barbershop windows.
Oh,
They're purple
Oh.
rope lights inside the frame of the windows surrounding the windows, and they almost
I know
look
they can
fluorescent.
have that.
Norm, can you hear me?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Are the
know
lights
neon
not allowed?
lights- Neon lights can be used inside the building, but not right up at the glass.
Well, this is right at the glass.
mhm.
Yeah, I think we could probably have to approach them.
All right. I'll send them a letter along with the we'll reach back out to the pottery place to try to get that sign out of there too.
Yeah, unless Ian's still giving them the.
Yeah,
okay
that
for
was it was supposed to be done by January 1.
Yeah, all
so
right,
so that's long since passed.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not quite as obvious now because it stays light a lot longer, but still.
Yeah, still I know Carrie's reminded me several times and I just never got down there to yell at them again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything else?
I just had a question on there's two stores on Main Street that have these painted windows. I just had a question on those. I thought they would have to go in through the Historic Commission. I don't know if anybody's noticed them or not, but it's, they pretty much cover the entire window with wording. And
Oh,
I thought that should have come through the Historic Commission, but apparently not.
they're new stores?
One is the acupuncture store.
Oh, down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's I saw the lady out there painting the
Yeah.
window.
Mike, she came to us and we approved that, but are you saying that what we approved is not what she's doing?
Was that her sign for the business originally several months ago?
Yeah, she did say something about putting lettering on the glass.
Hmm.
I think we went
Okay,
along with
well, I
it.
wasn't aware of that.
What would be the other one then?
There's one
there's-
across the street, and I'm not
Oh.
sure who it is.
The Market Tavern.
Ah,
Now, I know that the businesses back in February, was it February? Were doing the breast cancer campaign and all the businesses were doing markings on the windows. I don't know if it was temporary, but I don't know, is that something that needs to come before us or was that a Main Street?
Hmm.
I don't know. It wasn't permanent.
These look like they're permanent.
They're not. They're painted on the inside.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that
Because
could be
the
something
one
too
at-
that we look at with the guidelines as we're reviewing materials. Maybe we can just do a little refresher on, do we want to regulate maybe temporary, wording on glass storefronts to, for advertising purposes, or is that something we really want to get into every time, there's an event downtown and they do like Anna mentioned, like a breast cancer awareness kind of thing. Is that something that we really want to bring all the businesses back before the HDC to regulate?
Yeah, that I would.
Or we have a footnote that says temporary promotions are exempt from the historic district. I don't know if we want to
Yeah.
even do that.
We could do that.
We could
So I
check
do
that out
wanna-
too.
If I can, I'm going to mention if I can, actually, you do have temporary signs on display windows in your guidelines.
Yeah, I thought, Yeah.
Page 38, and here I'll share what it says real quick. But there's no definition of what temporary is. So it's that one.
Oh, wow. A lot of the businesses during these campaigns do way more than 10%.
Yeah.
And that's page 38 in your guidelines.
We might want to
Must be
reconsider that
39
word
in my-
and just say that it can't be up for more than 30 days instead of regulating. I don't know.
And that it said that the signs on the windows and doors cannot obscure the inside of the building either.
Right, right. It just says display windows are typically used for temporary signs announcing sales or other special events, so.
I mean, the one on Market Tavern is just like welcome spring. So
Yeah,
it's not like, it's not advertising anything. It's
No.
just a, you know, and obviously it's not gonna be up past spring,
yeah,
hopefully.
it's a seasonal thing.
So
Yeah,
I don't know how much of sticklers we want to be on that, but
yeah,
Maybe we'll review that. We'll review that section too, just to make sure that we're regulating the things that we want to regulate, not just because they're in the
Right.
guidelines, but
yeah,
let's make the decision of whether or not it's even something we want to do, or as long as we limit it maybe to, 50% of the overall glass space can't be covered up by, whatever they're
Yeah.
painting on there, or whatever. We'll dig in a little bit to that and figure
yeah,
out
that'd be good.
if it's something that we want to do.
Yeah, well, we want to make it consistent throughout town too, so we don't,
Yeah.
they don't pick and choose.
Because they can get pretty creative on those window designs sometimes. They're actually,
Oh, yeah.
some of them are pretty neat looking. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
that's
cool.
not a bad thing. It adds to
Yeah.
the, uniqueness, whatever, of the town.
Can you hear me?
you
Yeah,
can.
Now we can.
now we got you.
Motion to
the
adjourn. No, sorry.
The new Salt Tide store has very liberally used the artist. I think it's the same artist too, because she signs all of it.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of their window covered with a new message on the front of their glass too. So
Just that that new opening thing.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
that's temporary.
it might be
too.
temporary and it might not. I don't know.
Well, if it continues for, I don't know, 6 months, then whatever, we could probably say something. Maybe make a blanket issuance to the town at some point, to the downtown committee. So they can pass it on, whatever, what we want to see.
All right.
Right?
We'll take a look.
Okay, great. Okay, any other business or discussion?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, your motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.